So recently I completed Vinland Saga's second season. Prior to starting the new season, my only few interactions came from little bits and clips of videos made by some of my favorite YouTubers, as well as Gigok's interview with the author of the series, all of which seem to indicate that the series are taking more of a slower pace. I went into it not really expecting much, given how the first season ended, which honestly didn't prepare me for the complete tonal and perspective shift that was to be experienced. For some context here, what drew me into Vinland Saga's narrative was Thorfinn's rage and intense bloodlust, as well as getting to see him grow into more of a merciless warrior on his path of revenge. And it also helped a lot that the first season was absolutely pure eye candy in the terms of how well it was animated, which made these aspects of his character far more compelling for me. But soon enough, this anticipation of fights after fights after fights after fights led to a sort of blistering through more of the slower, softer and more emotional sides of the narrative. And don't get me wrong, the story of Knut and also the old woman that harbored Thorfinn were interesting, but looking back, it sort of felt like a blur compared to the epic and well-animated fights Thorfinn was involved in. Heck, I even remember checking my brother's screen as I was watching it for the first time and seeing probably one of the more emotional and thematically relevant scenes of the anime and not even remembering it at all, which somehow made the way season 1 ended, in retrospect, feel like it sort of snuck up on me. And then I watched season 2, and it starts out from the POV of a totally different character, only for me, the viewer, to be reunited with Thorfinn. And while honestly I had the widest grin possible seeing him on screen, I also was like, he's a slave now? Like, have you seen what this guy can do? In the early stage of the second season, it felt honestly like a massive tonal shift, which had me feeling very iffy, and truth be told, I was quite disappointed. Now, I wasn't aware at the time that Vinland Saga is more of an historical epic than a work of fiction, which was surprising when my brother told me about it. But as I kept watching, slowly, I started to realize this was the actual narrative of Vinland Saga. As true is honestly frightening nightmares, as well as the weight of what he has to atone for, he, and subsequently I, started to realize the emptiness of his past rage, as well as the whole Viking dream. And in a way, I had to confront the side of me that was just in for the ride for this merciless revenge fest, and actually care about Thorfinn as a character, as well as the more deeper themes of the narrative. And I feel this feeling reached a sort of peak for me in episode 9, when he becomes unconscious during the fight and is dragged into this sort of hellish representation of Valhalla. And well, you know what, I actually am not sure if I can properly talk about this episode, given how, to be honest, even now I'm still a bit shaken from just watching it. But let's just say that the part where one of them confronts Thorfinn about sending him to this place, and while crying his eyes out, he simply says he can't even remember who he was, has to be one of the most memorable moments of this episode for me, as it's truly left me in a way that I can't really explain, to be honest. And real quick, I just want to point out that I'm not really against combat as a form of solving problems within a narrative, as I feel a lot of great stories have used this medium to still tell really impactful stories. And even Vinland Saga in the latter parts of its second season still had some of these epic high-octane battles that the series was known for in the beginning. But what I'm getting at is that I changed from sort of expecting the story to endlessly continue on this one-way linear train to a story that felt a lot more deeper and dynamic, which left me not only rooting for Thorfinn's new paths of pacifism and road of redemption, but as well making me feel like, damn, I'll have to read the manga now.